Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, we were trying to search around for Reza here on the second day. I'm not really sure if it's technically the second day or the third day or what day it is, considering apparently through these 5 chapters, at least a couple weeks pass. But we were looking for Reza, searching a couple places that I did not search on my first run, encountered, what was it? Status, this thing here, whatever this thing here is called, we found it, and we also found a bloodied up towel or something that we have provided to the police. I'm very curious to find out what that results in. Anyway, finally for some free time, whatever am I going to do? Is there going to be a new name listed here? Nope, it is the usual 4. Why is it 4? Shouldn't it be 5? Hold on a sec, who's missing? So we got Remy, Anna, Lorem, Bryce. Oh, the 5th person is the lunch, of course. Derp. Well, we're going to go ahead and meet with Bryce again. Kind of funny that on this run I'm focusing on hanging out with Bryce. I intended to do that on my first run a few times, trying to get on his good side, but that turned out to be not necessary, and I had other people I wanted to see, so that never happened. Now it's happening. So hello there, Being Force. Welcome to the stream. Hey Erika, good to see you. Your face? The heck is that response supposed to be? I don't know, I'm gonna see, because I'm kind of curious what that's gonna result in. Probably annoyance. Your face. What's wrong with my face? Never mind, I thought something was off, but that's how you always look. Just come inside. No, I had a feeling that would be a mean response. But I had to see what it was. Anyway, back up a bit. How do I respond to this? Good to see you. You too. Wait a minute. Something seems different here. Does it? I don't notice anything. What do you mean? Oh, that's it. We're both sober. I thought we weren't going to mention that. I forgot. Right. Don't mind the chaos. This is just a temporary arrangement. He led me inside and motioned to the couch. When I took a seat and looked around, I realized that his apartment was obviously designed with only a single person in mind. Some days all you can do is be glad they're over. I imagine today, with the investigation of another murder, yeah, you probably would be glad for it to be over. Long day at work? You know how it is at the police department, especially with everything going on. Oh. Okay, oops, sorry about that. I'm putting my hand on my chin and bumped my hand against the microphone. How many dead have you found so far? That is kind of what I want to ask. Or is this a bad time for me to visit? No. Things are pretty overwhelming for me too. Being an emissary is no joke. No, I'm going with the last question. Too many. Each one we find is one too many. So, what do you usually do for fun in your world? Well, obviously not play video games, because my character is not a gamer. Also, Beerforce says I might need to meet with Lorem 2 days in a row if possible, since the first time you met with Sebastian and Bryce. That is the plan. We'll see if there's any new names that come up on the next date night. Meet with friends, spend time outside. Well, out of all these options, reading is definitely something I do. I actually spent a couple hours reading yesterday. The book I was reading was in, like, the final battle, and I didn't want to quit in the middle of it. So, read. Little book lover, aren't you? Can't say I am. How about you? Different things. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know how it is. That's not very specific. Alright, I'll show you something, but promise me you won't laugh, okay? Oh gosh. I can't promise anything. That is actually something I would regularly say. So I'm gonna choose it first. You'll notice that I'm definitely doing a lot more save scumming on this second run. I feel like, since I already tried to remain honest as I could on my first run, I allow myself to be more experimental here on this second run. I can't promise anything. Just keep in mind what I could do to you if you piss me off. He went to a shelf on the far side of the room and picked up a long object, carrying it in his maw as he returned to the table before me and gently set it down. Imagine living in this civilization where some people have to carry things in their mouths. Imagine being one of those characters that does have to carry a thing in your mouth. It was a wooden model ship. You know, you gotta have some real control in order to not accidentally chew through it while carrying it. From first appearances, I guessed it was a child's first attempt at assembling a model. While the shape was recognizable, there were odd pieces jutting out or not fitting together properly. In some places, globs of dried glue remained from excessive use. Who's the Parkinson's afflicted gent who did this? That is mean. What's this? It's obvious. It's a ship. It looks nice. You don't need to lie to me. I know fully well what it looks like. But that's not the point. Even though I try, I don't always make the best decisions. I know I'm not the most patient person. But in my line of work, you never know what they're going to throw at you next, so you always have to be prepared. You can't have any exploitable weaknesses. So you're learning how to build a model ship in case it saves your life? And of course, I want to be fit for duty. As the chief, people look up to me, so I have to be at my best at all times. Then why are you a drunkard? We can both tell the model's not very good. I don't really have the patience or the dexterity for it. But I tried my hand at this to get better. Sure, it took me way longer than it should have, and my claws were covered in glue for a week afterwards. But you know, these models aren't even intended for us. They're made for runners like Sebastian, who have the proper hands to do that stuff. I know this ship isn't much, but it's something. And maybe, if I keep trying, I'll get better. Here. I would like to actually experience life with paws and see how well I can handle things without actual thumbs. It seems like it would be a really interesting challenge. I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned that at some point in this playthrough, but it's just a fascinating idea for me. Wait a minute, you have ships? Not in this town, but yeah, we have ships alright. Why does that surprise you? I just find it interesting because where I come from, we also have vehicles for land and air travel. Well, some of us can fly and some of us can run well, but none of us can swim beyond the seas. Do you even have different continents? Not that I know of. You'd probably have to ask someone who knows more about our world than I do. I can only assume, given the time that this game takes place, that we are on Pangaea. Pangaea, however it's pronounced. Boy, imagine it living on a supercontinent like that, and being unaware that at one point that continent was actually multiple continents, and millions of years in the future, it will be again. How can you not know about something like that? Well, we do get the occasional explorer who ventures out into uncharted seas, but I don't really keep track of that kind of thing. Would you want to visit if they ever found one? I can't say that I don't find the thought exciting, but in the end, I've got my people here, and they need their chief. Maybe you could take a vacation and see what's out there. Ha! If I ever have time for that, maybe. Can you swim? Not particularly well. You may have noticed that I'm not exactly streamlined. Don't worry, Fat floats on water. No, he's the pinnacle of masculinity. Glad you think so. These muscles are the result of years of hard work. Alright, put your hand on my forearm. Don't you technically have 4 legs? I guess, but it's easier to say forearm than specifying the upper part of my foreleg. Besides, using the word leg might get misinterpreted. That might make you think of my thigh, and that would be something else entirely. Maddie's unable to watch, working on Christmas dinner. Oh, out at work's Christmas dinner. Alright, have fun with that. I've been to one of those before. I wound up winning a stereo. Okay, how do I answer this? Not that I'd mind grabbing your thigh. You know what? I'm going for it. Not that I'd mind grabbing your thigh. Is that so? Well, let's just keep it on the arm for now. I placed my hand on the upper part of his foreleg, somewhat surprised at the warmth radiating from his scales. Figured he'd be cold-blooded. I hope you're ready, because here I go. His forearms shifted, the shape of his muscles changing as they became more defined. In a moment, they were firm and bulging, his scales flaring under the stress and looking as though they might pop off at any moment. It reminded me of a flexing bodybuilder in a skin-tight lycra suit. After a few seconds, his muscles relaxed and regained their former shape. See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm not super into muscles. A lot of furry art out there is like super duper muscle bound, and that's kind of not my thing, but I can definitely appreciate muscles on a dragon. Now excuse me as I flex my own puny muscles. You think you're the only one who can do that? Just take a look at this. I rolled up my sleeves and flexed my arms, showing them off from the best angle as I struck a pose. Nice try, buddy, but I still don't think you want to arm wrestle with me. Probably not. I think the drinking competition was hard enough. It's too bad that all those muscles couldn't help you when Reza got away and you got stuck on those stairs. Hey, that wasn't my fault. It was the dang stairs. Speaking of which, this whole case has been completely insane. Us always a step behind Reza, and Maverick running around trying to catch him himself. I wonder what he's been up to. Maverick? Yeah. We had an interesting conversation not too long ago. What? What exactly was that? When I went into town to check your list of places Reza had been to. How come you didn't say anything about that before? I didn't think it was anything worth mentioning. It was a pretty one-sided conversation anyway. Alright, maybe you should start from the beginning. I don't want to say he's crazy, but I have no idea what he's talking about. Okay, I'm curious what it was that I mentioned. I remember him kind of being threatening, like I will find proof, but that's about the gist of it, wasn't it? Me neither. You know, next time you should let the police decide whether something like that is worth mentioning or not. No promises. I probably won't even remember this conversation to do that next time. Why did you not tell us about this again? I thought it was just Maverick being Maverick. He's not normally like that. I don't get it. Why has he been acting like that? Do you think he's onto something? I don't know, but there must be a reason behind his behavior. Well, he does eventually clue us in onto the location of Reza's hideout. Maybe he's right about Reza. You think so? Considering everything that's happened here so far, it's possible. That would put you in a very bad position. Yeah, but we know it kind of works out. Except for the world ending, that part doesn't work out so much. But my innocence works out fine. I know, but if it was him, I can't change what he's done. I can only try to help you as much as possible. I'm just thinking out loud, but Reza was the first of your kind to come here. He arranged the generator and PDA trade, and then you came through the portal to deliver your part of the deal. Did your people have any goals or long-term plans for us? Or was this exchange going to be a one-off thing? It was supposed to be a scouting mission more than anything, a test to see if this kind of business relationship could work out, and if it did, it would make humanity very happy. Things aren't looking good on that front right now, though. But yeah, that's another reason why I'm helping you. However this whole thing turns out, no matter what happens, I've got your back, okay? Well, that's the plan. In fact, likewise. Now that's the spirit. Hey, I'm gonna grab myself a beer. You want one? Can I not? I thought we didn't want to get drunk again. If I want a beer in my own home, I sure am as heck am gonna get myself a beer. Besides, it's just one beer. No one's gonna get drunk from that. Bryce got up and left through one of the doors to fetch his beer, leaving me alone in the room. I'm gonna examine the blanket. What an interesting pattern. The way the dark blue stripes contrast against the lighter hue is very pleasing to the eye. It reeks of alcohol and dragon. Achievement unlocked. Eau de Dragon. As in E-A-U-D-E, dragon. You examined Bryce's blanket. No comment. Admittedly, I was kind of curious what it smelled like. Oh, I only get to choose one? Darn. Maybe I should have chose the magazine. Oh well. Bryce lumbered back through the door, the handle of a beer-filled basket clamped in his maw. He carefully set the basket on the coffee table and took out the beers one by one. Once he was done, he swatted the empty basket into a far corner. Help yourself if you like. Bryce's store-bought beer looked very different from what I had seen in the bar. They were presented in large plastic bowls that were sealed at the top, reminding me of yogurt containers. He broke the seal on one of the containers with his claw and proceeded to drink it noisily. It's definitely nice to see some differences in this dragon world. Sweet, sweet nectar. Always does its job. Can I ask you something? Go for it. Please don't take this the wrong way, but I watched how you carried the beer. I was going to ask you how you do daily tasks, like shopping, for example, but I guess those baskets are your best friends. That's just how we do things around here. Not sure why that's so special to you. That makes me wonder. I know you can use your forelegs well enough for things, but what about your hind legs? Can you walk on those? Good question. If you're just talking about my species, some of us can. At least a little. But me, I probably wouldn't be able to take more than 2 steps that way. Interesting. It is very interesting. I am so glad I'm asking this question, because I want to know about how these dragons live when they're living on 4 legs. Maybe that's something I should practice as well. It'd be a good exercise in discipline. Regardless, I wouldn't be part of any competition anytime soon. You have competitions? Oh yes, each species get their own athletic competition with a few events every other year. That sounds fun. Ever thought of joining in? It's not really my kind of thing. I mean, it's always just about who's the best and the strongest, and who has the biggest muscles and all that. I'm not into that whole competitive lifestyle. And some of those events can also be a bit dangerous. One accident and it could be over for me as chief. That sounds rough. What kind of competitions do you have? They usually highlight the individual species' strengths and abilities. Kind of think of it, we did hear of a dean entering a flying competition. We get to do strength-based stuff, the flyers get to fly, the runners get to run, and so on. Speaking of which, it's kind of funny just how upright you are when you move. The runners lean forward and use their big tails for balance, whereas you have yours tucked into whatever that is you are wearing. I'm still waiting for the opportunity to take off my clothes and show everybody what I look like under these. Actually, we don't have tails. Are you kidding me? Not at all. Seriously? Everything alive has a tail. How can you just not have one? Let's see here. Just the way we are. Evolution, I suppose. Some animals just don't have tails, us included. Let me think. Other animals that don't have tails. I mean, obviously apes, but I feel like there should be some sort of animal besides us apes that do not have tails. Offhand, I just can't think of anything. So, evolution, I suppose? Although before I answer, it has been a bit since I saved. Guess you were robbed of more than just your fur. Huh, tell me about it. But tails are wonderful. Just look at mine. That's a pretty wicked weapon right there. And you just have nothing? Can't help it. You know what? I don't believe you. I'm not sure how I can make this any more clear. I know how to make it more clear. Show me. Absolutely showing him. Alright, here goes nothing. I can't believe it. You really don't have a tail. Told you so. Why do you cover it all up anyway? It's a human thing. We usually don't show our bodies to strangers. So, friends are fine? And that would be an unusual friendship. Let's just say that displaying that area would usually imply more. Is that so? Okay, so we got tails covered, but what about wings? I don't think we can call those little things on my back wings. What are they, then? Articulated pieces of armor, I guess. Makes me wonder what dinosaur Bryce is based on, then. Can you flap them? I can try. Bryce got up on all fours, grinding his body in preparation for what was to come. His face contorted into a grimace as his upper body strained. He held the pose for a few seconds, but nothing happened except for his continuous groan of effort. I would like to imagine that if I suddenly became a raccoon dragon and sprouted a pair of wings, that would be me. My wings would just be hanging, drooping loosely Because, sure, I suddenly have wings, but I don't know how to control those muscles. Then suddenly his wings started to move. Slowly at first, they swayed up and down. They gradually picked up speed and moved with a rhythm that could rightfully be called flapping. It reminded me of the pigeons I often saw back home. After holding it for a few seconds, he breathed a sigh of relief as he relaxed and the flapping motion stopped again. A single bead of sweat rolled down the side of his face and he looked at me, panting. Can you do that again? I wasn't looking. I so want to say that. You cheeky little... That was exhausting. Just the right time for a beer. I mean, it's his house. If he wants to drink his beer, I'll let him. So I'm gonna do nothing. I sat back and watched as Bryce took the last beer, opened it, and took his first sip with a slurp. So, I've been wondering, what does it take for someone to become humanity's ambassador? I'm still not quite sure how I ended up here. I didn't join the game until I was already arriving, basically, so, you know. I guess in my case, it was just a combination of the right degrees, volunteering, and a great deal of luck. But what kind of job did you have before that? Were you, like, a politician, or a diplomat, or what? Actually, I was none of those things. Reza, maybe, but certainly not me. I guess it's not like you needed ambassadors to represent humanity before, right? That makes this whole process a first, unless you had aliens show up at your place before. It's funny that you say that, because for a while there actually was speculation that you were aliens. Well, it's not like we fly around in spaceships or anything. If only you did. Strictly speaking, the word alien refers to any form of life that doesn't originate from our own planet. So that makes us aliens to each other, huh? Well, I'm not sure if that would be a good descriptor for your kind. Oh? Why not? Let's just say that where I come from, the word often carries negative connotations with it. Also, you guys are technically from our planet, so you're definitely not aliens anyway. That's no good. What does that make us then? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to make up a new word for sentient civilized dragons. I mean, we could just continue calling them dragons. I'm pretty sure that's what they call themselves. What do you think about us humans anyway? I know many others have their own ideas of what humans are or what they're supposed to be. I'm not buying into all that, so I'll just take it as it is. And how is it? Well, you've been interesting enough so far, and Reza, I'm reserving judgment on that one. It's so funny to see people talking about humans all the time and what your presence could mean, while I'm one of the few who's actually gotten to meet you and knows what you're like. I imagine that would be pretty awesome. I mean, technically speaking, I'm getting to hang out with a dragon. And people still don't know about Reza. And that'll certainly be interesting. What do you think will happen once the truth about him gets out? I'll start worrying about that once we know what the truth actually is. Good point. You work with the police long enough, you learn not to have any preconceived notions about such things. Take things as they are and do what's necessary. I'm guessing then that Maverick was very much out of line in that case. Anyway, I imagine you've seen many things as Chief. I certainly have. They're usually not the kind of thing I should tell people about, though. Why not? Not sure how it's done where you are from, but here, people usually don't like me telling them about the horrible things I see at work. I mean, it's definitely most certainly been that bad, I'm sure of it. I've probably seen worse. Given the conditions of my in-game homeworld, yeah, I've probably seen worse. What, you want to trade stories? Not really. I see. Man, look at the time. We spent all afternoon talking. Guess I should be heading back to my apartment. Yeah, it's getting pretty late, and I still had to prepare some stuff for tomorrow. Can you find your way out? Yeah. See you soon, then. See you. Okay. Oh. Well, there is a new option here. Spend the day reading. Maybe on my third run. The way I figure this game is going to take at least 4 runs. If I want to be able to do everything. Well, everything that I want to do. I'm definitely not going to do the evil ending. So, no, this will not be a 100% playthrough. But my goal for this run, if I'm able, is to try to get Lorem's good ending. And to my understanding, that means meeting with Lorem twice in a row. I assume this, you know, I never wrote the name down of this magical orb thing that I've been hearing about. But I assume once I piece it together, I'll bring it to Lorem, and that'll lead to something. So, as long as I am doing that, we're meeting with Lorem. I went to the bar Lorem suggested as our meeting place. When I looked around, I saw Bryce sitting at a table, talking to someone I couldn't see. I lingered on him for a second, but soon spotted Lorem in the corner of my eye. I'm surprised the game is not given the option to skip this scene. Does that mean that I did not do a satisfying selection of answers the first time? Yeah, whatever. I get to have a hangout with Lorem again. There you are. Hey, Lorem. Oh, wait, nope. The game just realized that, oh, wait, we've done this already. But do I want to look at the scene again as a reminder of what happens? Yeah, I'll look through this again. Good to see you. Thought might not show up. Am I late? I'm gonna kind of stick with the same option as I did before. Got here early. Surprised wanted to meet here. You're an adult. You're not as young as you look. Yep, I'm fully grown. Definitely take some notes on me if you are interested. Not a reporter. What was this? You can decide whether you want to go through with this or not. Sure, go ahead. Graduating college, degree in computing. Moved in with a good friend. We've met that friend. Not on this run, but on the previous run. Living here because it's cheap. Video game sounds interesting. Video games and computers just starting to catch on in this town. Didn't occur to me that that's actually the case here. This is not necessarily a highly technological town. I'm gonna stay. Let's make the most of this. Don't have to worry since you're a reporter. Okay. People having a habit of texting me during these streams. Oh, it's junk mail. Does anybody know how to block emails from your text messaging? You can block phone numbers, but not emails. And it's kind of dumb and annoying because I can't actually do anything about these. It's like, how are people emailing my phone anyway? I want to make a game. Always wanted to. Does that mean I'm going to be your game's mascot? People here love humans. Which makes sense, given the circumstances, because after all, a human is what created dragonkind. Although they don't necessarily know that. I'm with you on this. For good reason, just... yeah, those set of options seem to result in the exact same thing. Even saying that is kind of weird. Back up a bit. I wouldn't base my opinion of an entire species on interactions with a single individual. That's definitely a good. Admittedly, me and Reza being the only two humans here certainly complicates things in that regard, because gives the impression of half the humans being murderous jerks. At least Lorem doesn't meet Reza for most of the adventure, aside from one of the endings. Plenty of myths on humans of various varieties. Hey there, Lit! Thank you for the resub. Boy, these resubs feel like they come along a lot of times. I feel like I just thank you for that for a couple of weeks ago. So, game about community simulation game. Oh, that's right. So, not necessarily the RPG that we saw Remy playing. So, basically, Animal Crossing with humans. Sounds interesting. I'm skipping through this scene here because we've already played through this scene before. I'm on my second run of this game, trying to get some more clues about what's going on, hopefully get a better ending. Lorem here, by the way, in case you haven't met him, is the cutest dragon. One of my goals is to ensure that I reach Lorem's good ending on this run, because he's my favorite. He makes video games, and he's also freaking adorable. Many different interpretations of humans. Oh, here's where we got this part of the conversation. Humans divided in 3 categories: physical creature, non-physical entity, and spiritual being. Physical aspects. One of our myths tells us that the human who created us eventually turned into a dragon. Sadly, not the case. Sadly, I don't have a breath weapon unless you count my morning breath. Don't think that counts. Nope. Myths say that we gave that ability to dragons. That is indeed the case. Apparently. Necessity is the mother of invention. And we invented you, apparently. We did a good job. A lot of humans are basically the same. There's no different breeds of humans. Their skin color, but that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Okay, humans as non-physical entities and spiritual ones. Ghost could be a human who has died and thus changed into a different form. Call this a spiritual human. I hope when I die, I get to be a raccoon dragon. And then, of course, angels. Well, there definitely weren't any angels involved in the creation of dragons. There's no such thing as a four-headed human, or a four-headed anything, really. Kinda think of it, I've heard of conjoined twins. Has there ever been a conjoined triplet? Humans are very different as far as mammals go. We have myths of giants and stuff. I still don't know what a blemius is. Let me look that up real quick. I don't think I looked it up the first time. Blemius. Oh wait, I did look that up. Basically, strong mad. No, we didn't look them up because they were explained to us here. Instead of a head, they just have all their facial features on their chest. Yeah, strong mad. Merhumans. Shapeshifting creatures. Alas, shapeshifting is not a real thing. Oh, what were you asking? That would imply that they are genetically compatible with humans. I guess. Certainly can't shapeshift like that. Are you sure? And then he tries. To be fair, I never tried. Hang on. Did it work? Nope, still a dragon. But that's okay. You're already awesome. There's no improving perfection. Although, from his perspective, I suppose he's used to it. Being a cute little blue dragon is normal. He'd probably actually be interested in changing to a human if he could. Oh, I just remembered. Lorem is a hermaphrodite, so I guess they? Now we'll stick with he, because that is the impression that he'd been giving. That he likes being a he. At least that's the impression that I got. As an ambassador, I learned about dragon myths. Going to have a variety of humans, both real and fictional, in his game. Humans are all typically about the same size. Typically. Of course, we got skin colors and eye colors and hair colors. Minor things, really. I don't think blood type affects your personality. Lorem's made a few smaller projects. I assume still that Lorem did not work on that RPG that Remy was playing. Lorem's basically making it on his own instead of with a team. I wouldn't mind visiting the website for Lorem's game. Lorem's primarily making the game for fun, not really to make money. Also looks good on his resume. Seems like you know what you're doing. Gotta trim his nails so that he can actually use the keyboard. Imagine having that problem. Let me see here. One wrong move and you're suddenly shredded the letter you were just going to hand to someone. Sounds unpleasant. That kind of thing doesn't really happen to me anymore. Just learn how to be more careful. I suppose you would. Again, though, imagine having that problem. Oh. My species is perfectly suited for the job, so they were glad to have me aboard. Right. Because you got wings. I can see why. Of course, being able to fly is a big plus. Able to deliver urgent letters, and this is where this scene is going to end. On future runs, if I have to go meet with Lorem again, I can just skip over this entirely. I need at least one refresher to keep in mind for the future, though. Also, possibly connect some dots that we weren't able to connect before. Alright, this is where the next chapter begins. Let's see if we can spot anybody down below. I'm guessing Bryce? I'm guessing that's Bryce down there. Oh, come to think of it, this is going to be another thing that we've already done before. Because it's time for another thing going on with, more investigations, another murder, I'm pretty sure. Well, we're gonna do things differently than the first time, because it's one of those investigations where I wasn't able to quite do everything. So, we'll worry about doing everything, the other things that I missed, after this break. Be right back.